Republican candidate for the presidency of the United States. His supporters are upset that he wasn't invited to speak at last week's Republican National Convention. He's here tonight to share his thoughts. Please welcome Dr. Ron Paul. Welcome back. Good to see you again. No. You had delegates, obviously of popularity. Why didn't you get a speaking role?
Well, you know, on Sunday, before the convention started, we had our own rally. We had about 11,000 people show up. And, of course the convention was supposed to on Monday, but it was postponed because the hurricane didn't come.
Right.
But anyway, when we went over there, we had high expectations, thought maybe we could work things out. And they said the tent was too small, we had too many people.
Well, let me ask you a question. Had you endorsed Romney, would you have gotten a speaking role?
I imagine I would have. Yes, I think
really?
So. Sure.
I mean, do they make that part? Is that a prerequisite? If
it's not in writing.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, kind of like NBC. Okay, I get it. Yeah. Now, your son, Senator Rand Paul, he spoke. Was that to appease your supporters? Is that why they did that?
Well, I think it would be hard to think that anything that's done at conventions or party work, either party or in Congress, it's not political. Mm-hmm. Everything is political. So, yeah, I think so. I think they are aware of the fact that there are a lot of people. So we had nearly 2 million votes in the primary, but I think we had 2 or 3 million people who didn't want to particularly vote in the Republican primaries. They're independents and they're Democrats, and which seems to me that would be a good reason to really opening up a bigger tent for us,
sure.
So that we can come in.
Well, that makes perfect sense to me because I saw people speaking there who didn't get nearly as far as you did, even a quarter of the way as far as you did, and they were allowed to speak. Now, what did you think of Romney's speech?
Well, it was nice. He said a lot of nice things, and it wasn't anything I could say, except a few. But you know, it was very pleasant and all, but it wouldn't have been the speech that I would have given. I would have talked more about maybe foreign policy and some other things.
Yeah, there was no mention of the troops.
No, and I think it's pretty important, and the troops are awfully important in politics as well, because even from the very beginning, you know, they do measure where your money comes from, and of course, our campaign got the most money from the troops, from the military, and I think that that's hard for some people to believe, even though it's logical. Why would I was in the military for 5 years? I wasn't looking for somebody to expand the war. Right. Send me off someplace. So no, it's an issue that I think is so important. Matter of fact, I have a political theory that says the peace candidate always wins. At least the one that is perceived to be the peace candidate. Right. Like President Bush, George W. Bush in the year 2000. You know, he was wanting to humble for foreign policy and, you know, no nation building, no policing of the world. So no, the American people, no matter what they say on the surface, I think deep down in our hearts realize we don't need war. We don't need more war, and you don't have as much prosperity when you have no war.
What did you make of Clint Eastwood's talk? Because it was really a talk, it wasn't a speech.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't have given that one either.
Yeah, you wouldn't have given that one?
No, I thought it was pretty good. One part I liked about it was he was critical of the president, and he said that the president broke his promise. He said that he was, he was talking about the war, and he was going to close that war down, but he says, why don't you just bring those troops home tomorrow? You know, from Afghanistan. That was the most we had any discussion on, you know, the war issue, which to me is a very important issue. Peace is a very important issue. But
when we talked earlier, you said something I thought was amusing, that when Clint Eastwood said "Bring the troops home," it got a huge applause. Did you say the same thing not that long ago?
Yeah, on a couple occasions at debates, and did you ever hear of a presidential candidate getting booed at a hearing? Besides me?
Yeah.
No, I've been booed because I want to bring the troops home, bring them home. My slogan was, we just marched in, we can just march out.
Right. Now, the big question, any chance you will run as a third party?
No, not much. I have to take a rest and prepare for 2016.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, why not give it a shot?
Oh, third party? Sure. The system is very biased. We talk a lot about democracy. We send our troops overseas. We want to spread democracy. But democracy isn't all that healthy in this country because if you're in a third party, an own party, you don't get into debates. The truth is, if I would have tried in the last several years to do exactly what I had done in a third party, I probably wouldn't have made it to your show.
Yeah.
But there is something about it that, and if you ever come to a conclusion, heaven forbid, that the two parties aren't all that different, then what is left?
Now, if you had had your own campaign billionaire like some of the other candidates, do you think that would have helped?
A little bit.
Yeah.
That isn't the answer.
Yeah.
That isn't the answer. I think money is definitely a benefit. But, sometimes the very wealthy candidates don't always win. But no, I don't think it would. I recognize how hard a job we have, and sometimes it's rather frustrating that tomorrow we don't have this tremendous success. But the way I look at it is we're taking on a lot of special interests. The military-industrial complex. We're taking on the financial interests, Keynesian economics. And I think we've made pretty good strides in the last few years. But I still think we have a little ways to go. So money isn't it.
Yeah.
We still need a lot of people talking about issues. Matter of fact, we might even keep talking about the Federal Reserve System, things like that.
The GOP says that Paul Ryan is a deficit hawk. Do you agree with that?
His talk sometimes is hawkish.
Yeah.
But no, I voted against the Ryan budget because he's a hawk, and the Democrats sort of play into it because they condemn him for being such a deficit hawk. But this points out a serious flaw in our budgetary process. They have these automatic increases for eternity, and that's called baseline budgeting. But if you cut baseline budgeting, that's a slash, even though it's a 30 or 40% increase from the year before. So it's all a fake. It's a fraud.
Okay.
And so...
Are you going to vote on election day?
Probably. I haven't missed very many. Probably haven't missed any.
No clue who you're going to vote for.
I'm not giving that. No clue. I'll keep plugging along.
Well, it's always a pleasure
Hey,
talking to
great.
you. Thank you, Dr.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Dr. Rob Paul.